Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. What a day. What a day. Bitcoin is rallying, Ethereum is rallying, crypto overall is rallying, and I believe our message is spreading and it is working. I think there's a whole lot of factors at play, and I do think our message is working, and it's a fabulous day because of it. Everything is rallying. Today we're seeing a lot of green. So I want to cover what is going on with Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, and of course, give an update on this whole F2 pool situation that I've been covering for the last few days. There just seems to be a development every single minute. So there is a new development I want to share with you guys. Of course, I had a stream last night also talking about this, right? And thanks to a viewer that sent me something, it was not a good thing. It was a memoir that basically stole credibility away from Chung Wang. But yeah, I do want to give an update. But overall, I want to celebrate. I know that the last few days, last few weeks, things were kind of bad, right? Didn't feel good. Like there was tension in the air, and that has pretty much been cut. And the crypto community and Bitcoin community overall is moving forward. And that's what I love to see, and I think that's what you guys love to see as well, right? So thanks for tuning in. As always, smash up the likes, subscribe to the channel if you are new. And I do have these streams 11 a.m. Central Standard Time every single weekday, and plus I stream at night and on the weekends too periodically. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. All right, let's get started. Those of you guys in the live chat, welcome. All right. So changing my screen here. So as you can see, Bitcoin is certainly doing much better today. It was just above 35,000 and now come down a little bit. But overall, we have broken through that 34.5 mark, which yesterday we were not able to. It hit it and it came down, right? But now we come right back up, broke through. And now Bitcoin is trying to utilize that 34.5 as a support. This is what we want to see. I've said that this is the next step, right? We've been hovering between 30,000 and 34.5 for way too long. And I do believe the real reason behind it is basically some sort of price suppression by one specific mining pool. Now, there is something I want to share with you that kind of elaborates that. But overall, I think that's the reason why we were basically stuck in this rut, because it was massive dumping, and that seems to have lightened, which is why I think this is going up. Also, I do think that there's a lot of positive news, a lot of things going forward that's also driving the market. So overall, Bitcoin is looking pretty good. We'll have to see the rest of the day if it can stay above this 34.5. That'll be crucial, because if we can now permanently stand and utilize that support, the next step up is right back up to $40,000. And we were there after the Elon pump, pretty close, 38.5. So it's not like that can't happen within a blink of an eye. But, we're making good progress, right? And besides Bitcoin, if you look at CMC, we're still above $1 trillion market cap. I mentioned that last night. BTC's dominance is falling even more, 62%. And that's because you have someone like Ethereum that is pumping up to the moon, up 14%. A lot of people asked me and wanted me to look at Crypto Quant to see if there's some kind of price suppression with Ethereum. Unfortunately, it didn't show all that data, but it could have been. Or it could have just been Ethereum was just taking a breather, right? Things come in stages. They generally stall a little bit, and then, they shift to bull mode, and that's what it's looking like. Ethereum is nearing 1,500, and not only them, all these other projects like Cardano started pumping yesterday, and a lot of DeFi. Unfortunately, Dogecoin is not. Unfortunately, XRP is not, but a lot of others are doing fairly well. But today, the name of the story has to be Bitcoin rallying and Ethereum rallying, right? So before I get into the F2 pool update, let me talk about some really positive news. Of course, we have the new Bitcoin Jesus. I'm just going to label him the new Bitcoin Jesus. Michael Saylor, he decided to dollar cost average some more and bought another $10 million worth of Bitcoin. I'm just curious. Not that I don't like it, but Michael Saylor seems to have an infinite amount of money, right? Supposedly he went all in already with his initial $475 million purchase. Then he went more than all in by raising debt and using that to buy Bitcoin. Then he decided to buy $10 million more of Bitcoin, I think like only 2 weeks ago. And today, another $10 million. Where is all this money coming from? Is MicroStrategy really this profitable? I don't know, but he is definitely the new Bitcoin Jesus, and his MicroStrategy's holdings just keep going up and up and up, worth about $2.5 billion, 71,079 Bitcoins. That is a lot of Bitcoins, and it just continues to do well for him. And MicroStrategy stock have more than quadrupled now. So overall, he's doing it right. And what's coming tomorrow, this big event, Bitcoin for Corporations, which is also hosted by Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy. I think this is a big event. If you have I don't know how they check. The registration is according to if you have a company or not, like a company domain, but I don't think that's actually true. I think anyone could register. So maybe if I can get in, maybe I'll just do a stream of this tomorrow just to see. But it might be kind of boring to look at everything. But I think this is going to be huge. Elon would probably go attend. Other big corporations will probably attend. They want to learn more about Bitcoin. They're curious, or they want strategies in terms of how to deploy it. How to actually go ahead and buy Bitcoin, right? I think this will be a very, very big, could be part of the reason why today we're seeing a rallying too, because of this event. So we'll see. This is coming tomorrow, right? And afterwards, I think Michael and his CEO buddies and all these billionaires and big corporations, I think they're going to see the light, and we're going to hear more about corporations buying Bitcoin as a reserve. And you know what? That's going to be a great thing. Now, what else is there? Well, for those of you guys that utilize Gemini instead of Coinbase, this is pretty exciting. They are coming out with a new service that is live now called Earn. Basically, it's a way to stake. If you have a lot of crypto on there, like Bitcoin or whatever, you can simply stake it and collect interest, right? So they're saying we'll offer rates of up to 7.4 APY, and that's more than 100 times US average. And you could do it with all their crypto. And I think there's like 26 of them. So that's also pretty positive. Overall, I think crypto, DeFi, right? Staking and collecting interest, that's definitely part of DeFi, right? I think this is luring a lot of people to crypto, because you guys know what I'm talking about with Robinhood. This whole thing have opened a lot of people's eyes. A lot of people are really wondering what they're doing. Why are they using traditional financial services? Why they haven't gone into crypto yet or looked into DeFi? And especially people that, trade stocks or have a savings account or whatever, they're looking at, I'm collecting 0% interest on my money right now, which is deflating. And the buying power is decreasing about 10 to 15% per year. Why would I not buy Bitcoin and actually hedge against inflation, watch it rise over time, and collect up to 7% interest by just simply leaving it there? I mean, look at scenario A I just mentioned and scenario B. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist like Michael Saylor to figure out that, yeah, that's the way to do it, right? So obviously, Robinhood is now shelving their IPO plans because of this PR disaster. The CEO is going to be called upon Congress. Elon Musk recently, I think he interviewed him, asked a whole bunch of questions. Everyone wants to know what is going on. The story is the clearinghouse demanded more money up front because things were too volatile. So people are wondering, okay, if it's not Robinhood, is it a clearinghouse or something else is going on, right? But still, there's a lot of questions. So obviously, they're shelving their IPO plans. This is not the right time to do it, or it's going to be a disaster, right? But like I said, this brought a lot of attention to Bitcoin, even Dogecoin, crypto overall, DeFi especially. Just makes a lot of people wonder, what they're doing with their money, with traditional finance and with Wall Street. Can you really trust them? Is the game rigged? Does the house always win, right? And unfortunately, you know, people that held on a little bit too long with GameStop and AMC, now they're seeing those stocks tank. Still much higher than before, but it is coming down. So it's also making a lot of people question what they're doing, right? Should I get into something better like crypto? And I think that is the reason why Voyager, Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, all these exchanges recently had outages, because of the influx of new users that really want to join in on the community, and that's fantastic. Dr. Gumble calls. What do you think about Cap Protocol? I'll look back at it during Q&A. All right, Cap Protocol. Okay. So, besides this, what else is there? Well, I did want to mention this real quick because everyone's talking to me about it. But, you know, the message about F2 Pool is spreading, right? Every single person seems to be talking about it. A lot of people are giving me credit, which is great. That's not what I was looking for. I was just simply trying to spread the word. And I think the message is working. This is why I've said our message is working. We're asking the right questions. I do believe that the guilty party or parties are now starting to get a little heat, right? And I did hear that Sonny Decree also came up with this topic, but did not give me credit, which is fine, because I think most of you guys know that I already talked about it. Most people know that I kind of spread this and looking through the comments. So thank you for you guys for actually making this scenario, basically spreading the message, letting people know what's going on, right? And hopefully we can continue this forward, just like this whole Wall Street Bets thing, right? Ultimately, what we're looking for is us as a community, as a I don't even know what you call it, you could just even say a cult. Basically, we need to come together and stand up for ourselves and make a difference. And when you have enough people that believe in something, you could definitely drive change, right? All right, so speaking of this F2 pool situation, so I've already created like 3 videos about it. There seems to be updates every single day. So here's the latest one from Crypto Quant, the company that's producing all these charts, right? So they're coming to F2 Pool's defense, and they're saying this: F2 Pool is not the BTC seller. Whales who have participated in F2 Pool at least once are the sellers. The addresses of the mining pool owner and its participants are different, but they're in the same cluster since we label mining reward addresses and clusters and cluster them. So what they're saying is, and they gave you a really nifty diagram, that basically out of this pool, right, F2 Pool's like portion is very tiny compared to all the participants, right? Which at first glance, you look at this, it makes a whole lot of sense. They're a mining pool, right? They pool people's hash rate together, right? So it makes a whole lot of sense. But what doesn't make sense is this. Not that chart. What doesn't make sense is this. You look at all the pools, the top pools out there, and Crypto Quant does track all of them. What doesn't make sense is this. Why is F2 Pool's chart look like this, right? In terms of outflows, it's just massive. And I have to move my camera again. So tell me how this makes sense that you have only one pool with such a mass exodus of BTC when every other pool, and they're almost as big, almost equally as big, does not have the same problem. So look at this. Ant Pool has about 300 or so leaving per day, pretty consistent. You have Poolin, which is the second biggest. I mean, there's deviations, but overall you can see it's still pretty normal, anywhere from a few hundred to a few thousand per day. Pretty normal. It did not spike up recently. You look at BTC.com, which is very consistent, except this one time and maybe the second time, but overall pretty consistent. So why is it that if all these pools are pooling everyone's hash rate and the addresses are intermingled, why is it that only F2 pools have such a deviation, such a mass exodus just from one pool, right? So that still is unanswered and doesn't sit very well. So I'm hoping the next step is this, that crypto quant will break up and specify which addresses is which, right? It seems like they already have the info, that they just didn't release it yet. So we'll have to see what is going on, because I think this is still a little fishy to me. And the fact that crypto quant is now coming to F2 pools, coming to save them on this whole thing is a little weird too. So we'll have to see, right? Like I said, the point of this has always been to ask the right questions and figure out what is going on behind the scenes, right? Whether there is true price suppression, whether there is manipulation going on, right? Whether this one miner has so much power that they can sway the market and benefit and profit from it at the same time, and then they could rinse and repeat. That's what we don't want, right? That's what we don't want. That's what we're trying to figure out. So hopefully, Crypto Quant will provide more answers, and then we can move forward from this and not let this hold us back any longer. But I did want to mention, because someone did bring this up, and I covered this yesterday in case you guys did not read it or hear my stream from yesterday. Memoirs, the self-narration of founder of F2 Pool, Wang Chung. And this was posted in 2018. So there's no reason to believe that this is fake. And the whole point of this whole blog is to put up memoirs of people within the blockchain community. And this was translated from Wang Chung. Well, he's actually Chung Wang, you know. And this was posted November of 2015. So 6 years ago. Seems like a lifetime ago, but 6 years ago wasn't really that long. I still remember 6 years ago very clearly. But this is the thing that also is very damning for Chung Wang's credibility, because he openly admits that he engaged in price manipulation before. So, to quote, "I was not only engaged in mining, but also occasionally in investing. In early September 2011, a 17-year-old Chinese genius, Zhong Tong, who studied in Singapore, released Bitcoin ICA. I still don't know how to pronounce that. Bitcoin ICA. I'll just say it like that. The earliest leveraged trading platform for Bitcoin. I was one of the first few users. At that time, I had a lot of Bitcoins in hand. I put a sell order of more than 500 Bitcoins on Mt. Gox, and after a few seconds, the purchase price on Bitcoin ICA would fall. At this time, I made a purchase on Bitcoin ICA and removed the sell order on Mt. Gox. Although Bitcoins could not be actually bought from Bitcoin ICA on Mt. Gox, it showed that the deal was successful. In this way, money was earned and the balance on Bitcoin ICA multiplied many times. Unfortunately, the price ended up in a sharp fall from 570 to 404. Zhu Tong later discovered this problem and made a correction, right? So he even openly admits it. I don't know if this was a bragging or what. Maybe. But he basically showed that because he had a large amount of Bitcoins, he was able to manipulate the price specifically on this leverage trading platform. And he benefit from it until this was removed, right? So this is from his own mouth. So kind of takes the credibility away from anything he says. And clearly he's been lying on Twitter and going back and forth, right? So again, hopefully we come to a conclusion to this saga pretty soon, right? I think this is the whole point of the title. Our message is spreading and working. There's a lot of people that's asking the right questions. A lot of people that's really digging into this. For example, Jacob sent me this article, right? And I think this overall is putting a lot of pressure, right, on the people that may be involved with this. And I think it has a direct effect on what is happening, right? I don't think it's a coincidence just after 2 days of revealing this, now that some of that sell pressure have released and Bitcoin is now starting to come up, I think this had a lot to do with it, and I think a lot of you guys contributed to this, right? So overall, I think this is working, and hopefully we could get to a conclusion of this sooner than later. But in the meantime, we have a lot of things going for Bitcoin and crypto community, so we have a lot of other positive things to look forward to as well, right? So flat smack thank you. Okay, I'll leave it with that, and let's do some Q&A. And someone did give me a giant super chat before about CAP protocol, and let me take a look at that. Is it CAP Finance or CAP Protocol? Because I don't find CAP Protocol. But if it's CAP Finance, experience the true powers of decentralized finance with Capital Finance. I think most people, most projects with dot finance is basically doing the same thing. Jake, appreciate that. Man, a lot of super chats coming in. Appreciate that, guys. Looking at backed by the powers of Ethereum blockchain, Capital Native Token CAP is listed on all major exchanges, therefore bringing a comprehensive service in the world of DeFi. See, that doesn't really instill confidence right there. What major? I hope this is not the one that you were wanting me to look at, because obviously this is very vague and they're lying through their teeth because it's not listed on all major exchanges. And powers of Ethereum blockchain, right? So no, I would not recommend that project. Will Litecoin, Ratchet asks, will Litecoin hit all-time highs this month? No, probably not. Litecoin, well, let me take that back. What was the peak of Litecoin? Let's look at it. Maybe it can, but I was thinking Litecoin was much higher before, so let's go back. Litecoin peaked at 400, so no, it's not going to peak at 400 by the end of this month. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, yeah, Litecoin was about 300. I didn't know it actually peaked at 400, and that's when Charlie Lee just dumped his bags on everyone. So, and after that, boom. No, that's not the reason why I went like that, but it did contribute to it. Nice is asking about BTT. I'm not going to say I don't like BTT, but I'll just say I'm neutral. The reason being, I don't know what the hell Tron is doing with BitTorrent. And I picked this up before that I really didn't like. People thought BitTorrent went up because the market cap is relatively high at 400 million, right? And, you know, it came out of the blue because one day it was like 100 million and the next day it was like 400 million. And I'm like, why is it 400 million? Did the BTT tokens really pump? Well, if you look at this, no. The reason why it went up to 400 million is because the supply increased dramatically while the price pretty much stayed the same. So I'm not a fan of that. They basically released a ton of tokens to the market, but the good thing is the price of each token held, which is why the tokens didn't tank. But overall, I mean, BTT has not been moving at all. So honestly, I know Justin was trying to do a whole lot of stuff with BitTorrent, video streaming, decentralized storage. But the biggest thing was to try to utilize BTT as incentive to increase bandwidth and bring benefits overall. And I don't know if any of that is actually completed or complete. I actually don't know what Justin is doing with all his projects. So I'm just neutral on BitTorrent. I just don't know if they're really making any true progress at this point. Encrypt. Hey man, what are your thoughts on Engine? They had some news recently the other day about tokenizing real estate as well. Well, I'm not so excited about tokenizing real estate, but I like Engine quite a lot because they got approval in Japan to come out with NFTs basically for games. So they're the first that got approval. That's pretty big. They are specifically NFTs before NFTs was even a thing. So basically they created their own token within the Ethereum blockchain that was meant for, digitizing game items, and their wallet supports it, and they're doing really, really well. And they're also, you could consider them basically not just an NFT, they're basically everything. They're also kind of like a scaling solution. So they're pretty big in Asia, and I think they're doing very well. And overall, they've been climbing the charts a lot too. I've covered them quite a bit in the past. I can't find them right now, but they have jumped quite a bit in the within the last few months. Yeah, overall 300 million market cap. Not bad. Not bad at all. In the top 187. So hopefully that answers that. Use the CAP exchange link for CAP. So you're saying it doesn't show up on CMC? What? It doesn't even show up. I don't know what. Cap.exchange? I guess this is what you're talking about. Trade BTC APL Netflix with DAI stablecoin. Cap uses an automated market maker to quote asset prices. A liquidity pool receives losses and pays out on gains. So basically, decentralized DEX and decentralized stock trading. It almost seems like, right? I'm not a fan of basically DEXs that engage with synthetic stock trades, because that just can't, it doesn't make any sense. When the stock market is closed, there's no way that anything that you trade after market is legit, right? So it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I don't know. I don't have any thoughts on this. And it seems like you can't trade this anyways right now, right? Sorry, I'm just going through. I'm going through all this. Would you say, Justin asked, would you say that Chung had 1 million BTC at his disposal, USDT market share on exchanges down to 45%? Thoughts on Loopring? He bragged that he had 1 million Bitcoins, right? But it turns out that's not true. At least I don't think so, because now the narrative is, at least he's telling the truth, but that, that 1 million Bitcoins is shared among the pool, all the miners, right? So theoretically, he should not have 1 million Bitcoins at his disposal, but he was being cheeky, right? And that's what made things even worse, because we didn't know if he was telling the truth or not telling the truth. I mean, it seems like, he had a hashtag trolling on here. It seems like he got a little more serious and removed that, right? And you know what? The whole thing was just not right. So, see, he got rid of the tweet claiming that he had 1 million Bitcoins, right? Because that was here. So yeah, he caused it upon himself. If this is a whole big misunderstanding, then he caused it upon himself, because he clearly stated, I showed you guys a tweet, you guys look at my previous videos about him having this 1 million Bitcoins, and he was very proud that he only dumped 10% of it, right? And now it's coming out that he didn't have all of it. So I don't know what the hell this is, what he's doing. So, but it seems like he's taking this a lot more seriously. And he's probably the reason why CryptoQuant put this out, because he reached out to CryptoQuant and said, hey, you better clarify this. That's what I'm thinking. But still, the whole thing has a lot of question marks, and it's still kind of fishy. David, appreciate his super chat. Hexa Low Pod, appreciate that too. Yeah, BDC is definitely looking good. You can see that it wants to go up, right? And it is holding at 34.5. So overall, I think BDC is doing very fine. I think our message is getting out, definitely getting people to take things seriously, right? And putting the heat on some of these bad actors, right? So I think our message is definitely working, along with everything else. MicroStrategy with Michael Saylor, Bitcoin Jesus, everyone is getting involved, and that's a fantastic thing. Oh, I forgot about Loop Ring. I don't know. I kind of got off the Loop Ring bandwagon a while ago because they were focused, and I still think they are. They're focused on a protocol for DEXs. And I'm not sure if anyone follows their protocol. Before, they were competing with 0x. And Loop Ring's advantage was that they are a Chinese company, so they had close ties with Neo and Ontology, and they were going to work with them, right? But since then, you don't really hear about DEXs coming out for Neo or Ontology. So that's kind of why I kind of got off the bandwagon for Loop Ring. But I do recognize they have hung in, and they've been doing pretty well. So I'm wondering if they started doing something else besides just working on DEXs, right? So like right here, can settle up to 2,025 trades, guaranteeing the same level. All right, so seems like they're probably still the same, but they're still working. They're claiming the settlement, so they have their own smart contracts. I mean, this still seems kind of the same. Yeah, everything is still involving, this protocol for DEXs. But, the question is who is actually utilizing it, right? So maybe they have gotten a lot. So this is EK Snark Trusted Setup. The ceremony 3.0 I complete with 15 participants. So I don't know. I'll have to dig a little more. So I guess their mission is still the same, but there has to be a reason why they've been going up, right? So maybe a lot of DEXs start utilizing their protocol. I'll have to look into them. Charlie asks, hey George, can you explain who pays out when a short is successful? Is it an exchange? Surely they will eventually go broke if F2 Pool keeps doing this. Basically, there's two sides, right? You can't have shorts without longs. So if a short is successful, that means a long is unsuccessful, right? So that's where the money is coming from, both ways. So that's how it works. With GameStop, however, there was over 100% of shorts. That's why they were able to take advantage of it. And I don't understand how you could have more than 100% shorts, but traditionally you have both sides. It's never just one side or the other. You have both sides. So when one side loses, one side wins. That's how it goes, right? So this whole thing about F2 Pool, how much Bitcoins they have left, how much Bitcoins do they have in the first place, whether or not it's them or whales that's utilizing F2 Pool, there's still a lot of questions that needs to be answered. But Crypto Quant seems to be helping with this by trying to spread out the addresses, but we'll see. But it's still very questionable at this point. Brian, null stabilize, dump after this pump. I think nulls have fallen to a point where it's really hard for them to dump. So they're already a small cap. They've been hovering around 20, 30, even 40 million in market cap. But I guess if you're wondering if it's because it's go dump after this, maybe. Right now, small caps are not moving at all. And I mean small caps, anything under 100 million, they tend to be pump and dumped. Right now, I would say really the The ones that's over 100 million, 150, 200 million, they kind of stabilize and they're moving up. So it's unknown if this is going to hold. I know about AGI Singularity. I never liked it. Never liked it at all. And I don't think they're going to explode, quite honestly. AI is just too new. And there's no need for a decentralized data marketplace right now. Because any company that's truly working on AI, they're going to share their data. That's proprietary. That's worth a lot of money. And I just don't see any value in that right now. Maybe in the future, but right now, I just don't see it. I don't think BitBoy is trying to claim the glory. He did say in his video yesterday that he did give me props for it, and he brought me a lot of new subscribers, which is great, and so did other people, right? Tyler S., who I'm not familiar with, people told me about him. Crypto Zombie mentioned about it. So overall, I'm glad they recognize it. I'm more glad that basically people are talking about it and asking the right questions, because I do think that's how we're going to solve these things, right? I think WSB kind of shown you when you have a group of people that really put their mind to it, right? You could pretty much do anything. Abby, ADA, pump and dump. ADA's not a pump and dump. Why are you asking that? I appreciate the super chat, but it's not a pump and dump. It's held on. It's there's a good reason why it's in top 10, because a lot of people really believe in the project. And again, when you have a lot of people that believe in something, it will come through. Usually. All right, guys. That is it. I'll leave you guys to it. Siacoin. I'm not a fan of Siacoin. Decentralized storage. There's so many players that's involved now, so it's very competitive. And I really didn't like Siacoin from a few years ago when they had this one major outage, and the difficulty became too difficult, and no one could use it. And it took them like months to figure that out before they could fork and fix that. So ever since then, I didn't really like them. There's so many players in this space now for decentralized storage, so it's very, very competitive. So let's just put it that way. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. You know what? Bitcoin's doing well. Ethereum's doing well. Overall, crypto community is doing well, right? There's a lot of good things to look forward to, a lot of things coming. But overall, I think this whole thing about you guys helping spread the message about what's happening, what may be happening with price suppression, manipulation, mass dumping, right? I think we are having effect on the overall market in a very positive way, right? Thanks for tuning in. Smash up the like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and stay tuned for my future streams and videos. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.